All right, hey, meettina here. Welcome everyone to my channel. Well, today I have this dear friend of mine. I met her about 10 years ago, right, Nikki? Nikki
Yeah.
Benoit. She is a spiritual energy coach. But before I introduce her, I'm going to show you her book that she has written, and it's on sales on Amazon.com right now. It's Here you go. It's called Piecing It Together. I just discovered that she wrote this book just today. All right, guys. So she's going to be talking about her books and what is it about. And I'm just thrilled that she's going to be sharing that information. So you guys just see that. And if you have interest, go ahead and buy her book on Amazon.com. So anyway, Nikki, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm so good, Tina. What a treat to be here and so great to connect with you again after so long.
After, wow, 10 years, I have to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know what? Universe or fate brought us back here together again just to
Yeah.
share what you do, because I found it to be quite amazing as well when it comes to energy healing. And, I'm sure you're doing a lot of stuff too. So I would like you to share that with the audience. So as a spiritual energy coach, tell me, what is it? What do you do to help your clients, and what type of clients?
So thank you, Tina, and thank you for sharing the gem of the book that I wrote about 8 years ago. And piecing it together, just to backstep a couple seconds, is a compilation of what happened when I started living an intuition guided life. And that was a very big part of my launch into what I'm doing right now, because by shutting everything out, the logic, the shoulds, the programming, the expectations, the resume, like everything that was logical, by shutting all that out, because life kind of stopped working for me anyway. So I had no choice really but to drop into my inner guidance and start doing what my heart said to do and what I felt an inner draw to do. By doing that, life rearranged to support me in ways that I could have never manipulated with force. And the only reason something like that is even possible is because of the back work I did to get me there, which was starting to disengage from toxic behaviors and people. Like I was working with a shaman in Los Angeles around the time that I met you. A couple of years prior, his name was Judu Negbu from Nigeria. I was working with him, and I was also working with Salacia, also from LA, and Gail Thackeray. I became a Reiki practitioner through her. And then I came across you and your work. I don't even remember how I found you. I think it was meetup.com or something.
Yeah, it was on Meetup. Yeah.
Living in Los Angeles, and I was prior to that in Florida. And I feel like my life and the universe guided me to California to start to break down my inherited perspectives and beliefs so that I could incorporate new energetic understandings of reality. So I read books like Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. Salacia wrote a great book, Your Guide to Earth's Pivotal Years. I started listening to the work of Abraham Hicks and just other visionaries and healers. Marianne Williamson was another pivotal part of my path. And so I'm listening to all these healers, and I'm incorporating this new, not logical explanation of reality. And the more I did that, the louder my intuition got. Now, it's not, as you know, always a clear, 1 + 2 + 3 step process listening to your intuition. There were lots of brick walls and, scraped knees and crying and confusion, right? But that's part of the necessary process. So in 2015, I was guided to leave Los Angeles, and I went to the North Bay of California. And that's when all things started to come together. And I was in Marin County. And, by just following this inner guidance, I was synchronistically aligned with this helpful person and that helpful person in this job, and collecting these tools, which then guided me to really step forward in an abundant experience. So I was starting to get pay dirt, if you will, from all of the bumps and bruises that led me there. So I'm like, all right, there's something to this intuition guided stuff. And so for the next few years, it was really yummy. But then the fires that we had in Northern California were unlike anything I'd experienced, and it was very apocalyptic. I'm like, you know what? It's too cold for me here anyway. It's really crazy expensive. And now I'm being choked out by fires. Yeah, no. So after 4 years, I decided to up and leave. And all the while, my intuition was saying, Miami, Miami. I was like, no, no, I'm not going back to Florida. I lived in Florida already for 12 years. And so I was telling my intuition no. And so I was like, well, let's try Austin, Texas, because it's warmer, less expensive, and it's not flammable. So I went to Austin. Within a month, I knew it wasn't going to work. And so finally I surrendered and came to Miami. And you know, Tina, when I got here, after 4 days, I bumped into the most compatible, supportive conduit for me to fully step into my expression. California, I lived there 9 years. I was there, I believe, tearing down walls and cultivating skills. I went through yoga teacher training. I became a Reiki master teacher. I became really dedicated to my intuition guidance and listening to energies and how all that plays out, so that I could come back to the East Coast where I was raised and then bring these tools. And I think that's what my experience here in Miami has been. And so I have all these tools, you know, meditation, breath work, Reiki, emotional freedom technique, tapping, different shadow work that I like to work on, womb healing techniques that I've collected that I like to work on. And so I'm just intuitively guided to package what these different modalities offer to my clients. I take private clients and I do group sessions just to support people on the one thing that I feel is the most transformational way to live, which is in a way where you're loving yourself. You fully accept yourself as you are right here and now. Everything you've done, you are at peace with it. You fully integrate with everything and you just fully accept yourself. And I feel that is where humanity is being guided to go, because really nothing from there, nothing that isn't in that foundation is going to work.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. It's self-love. Now, you mentioned that intuition pushed you to go to Miami and you finally surrender. You've been living there for how long now?
It'll
3
be
years?
3 years in October.
So how has it been living there with your intuition guidance?
Oh, it's been amazing. And it's been, you know, and I say that because where I am right now, but it's not to say it was really rough. Like, I was faced with a lot of shadows. You know, the vibration in Miami is similar to Los Angeles in that it's got really high vibes on one street corner, and at the same time, it can have really low vibes. So, it's very focused on appearance and bling bling and bedazzle. Like, so I'm on the outskirts of Miami hot spots, so I'm not really in the throes of that kind of like we see. But it's still very intense. And what I've learned from being here, I've spoken with other mystics and visionaries and healers who are from other parts of the world, and they said that they also got a call to come to Miami and they didn't know why. And a lot of them don't like the weather here. I happen to love humid, hot weather, so it's totally my jam. So I'm grateful for that. But what I've come to realize is perhaps Miami, I'm shown, is a part of the Bermuda Triangle. So you've got Bermuda, Puerto Rico, and then South Florida. And so you've got this vortices of energy, which could very easily be the Atlantean culture, the Atlantean civilization. Of that, you've got the Lemurian up in Mount Shasta area, which I'm doing work there. I have a womb healing ceremony in June, but a ritual, or a retreat rather, that I'm doing with a friend in June there. But down here, there's something happening here vibrationally. And I've spoken with people in the area, the community that I'm a part of, and they say, yeah, it hasn't always been this way. And I think around 2012, there may have been a grid shift on Earth and that some kind of portal opened up here. I went last January to Haiti. I went with a couple friends. A friend is from there, and we were going kind of on a mission to help energetically support an eco preserve that really needed support because it wasn't getting support from the government there.
Wow.
And you could just feel the vortex-like energy on this eco reserve. Wind farm is the name of it. Wow, we cried as soon as we stepped on the property. It was so powerful. Like, wow, there's something really happening here. I mean, you've got Port-au-Prince, you've got other really dense, heavy other areas in Haiti, but you also have incredibly high vibrating, powerful places in Haiti. And it's curious to me how you can have both, but whatever. I don't need to know that yet, but I just know that Haiti has a very high vibe too. And it's kind of in that same pyramid area. So I feel like there's something happening here.
Wow. So anyway, with what you do, what type of clients come to you? What kind, because this is energy work, right? Do they have issue with their physical body or mental or emotional or spiritual, or they just come to you because they're curious? I would like to get an input on that, you
Thank
know?
you. Yeah. I think the majority of the people who hear about me are already curious about something greater than what they know. So some of my clients are also in therapy, which I always encourage my clients. They're going through like deep emotional traumas and so forth. Like most of my clients, I have to say almost all, have some kind of trauma with early childhood stuff.
Yeah.
So I always encourage them to go to therapy. But what my work complements with the Reiki and the breath work and the meditation, and I also work at supporting them. I really want to train everybody to know about Reiki. Reiki is one of many energetic modalities, but it helps you really break down the chakras, your energy centers, and then your auric field, so you can understand more how your energy works. You can become guided toward, okay, well, I'm feeling this issue in my stomach, and what does the stomach represent? It represents self-confidence and personal power and ability to digest information. And so you can say, oh, well, yeah, I've been lacking personal power forever. Well, your digestive issues are showing you that. You have an emotional. So I try to help people integrate and understand how their body is a brilliant communication vessel. That's probably, thank you. So that's probably one of the things that I'm really passionate about, which is helping people realize that their body is a brilliant communication mechanism and that they are their own healer. That's one thing I'm really loud about, is to not find a healer as your guru, as your answer to all your things. I really want to guide people to realize they are their own healer. And I forget who it was. There's a woman who is running an animal rescue up in Tampa. Her name is Carol Baskin. She's got Big Cat Rescue. And when she gave me a private tour over 2 decades ago, I think, I loved it when she said she's trying to put herself out of business. She doesn't want to have any animals that need to be rescued. And that kind of really, I love that. And it's really reminiscent of what I feel, that I want to live in a world where we're all aware of how to work with our own energy. I
You don't
know
need,
that
yeah.
for me to do beyond being a guide, a spiritual energy coach, whatever label.
Wow.
There's plenty of ways for me to keep myself occupied. I don't need to have a list of clients. I would love to live in a world where we're all just doing whatever feels right, whatever's true in the moment. My survival isn't dependent on people being in pain. So yeah, I'm happy to evolve as humanity's consciousness evolves, and we'll see what else we get to do.
I absolutely just love what you just said, Nikki. That was very powerful. You know, when you said you don't feel like you wanted to help people. Let's reverse that back. Like the lady, she just want to put her business out of the business because hope that there's no animals that needed to be rescued at all.
Yeah.
They can be on their own and they can be independent and they can be free, the same as human as well. And you're right about that. There are too many gurus out there, or because then you become so dependent on them, and I
Right.
like the fact that you would train or teach your clients to be independent and really work on themselves and know how to work on themselves so they can be independent, they can be empowered, their own
Yes.
energy. And it sounds like you actually teach your clients to communicate with their body. You just kind of like a facilitator, interpreter, right?
Yeah, I'm really
That's
just
what it
holding a
sounds
mirror. Yeah, I'm just really there to hold a mirror. And because and I know this with myself, if I'm in the emotional throes of something that I'm dealing with, I really can't, I cannot see what's going on. That's why we need each other. I have friends who are healers, or I'll go see other healers to help me decode what's going on, because I have normalized a lot of my interpretations of reality. I've been so entrenched in density or in wounding my whole life that I don't know that that's not normal, right? So
right.
I know that there's, at least at this time in human history, I don't know that we'll ever not need healers or people with an expanded perspective, and I'm okay with that, but I just feel like unknowingly, and this is a thing. So I also learned about this Havaya experience. And Havaya is a circling. You may have heard of circling, where people come together for like authentic relating and intimacy and meditation and stuff. And you're just basically sitting in a meditative state with others. Here with the Havaya practice, it's only 15 people max, but you're sitting in a circle. The circle is the healer. No one person is the healer. And so you're in this place and you're expressing what's alive for you. You know, there's different pillars of how this is constructed, but it's a really powerful field of consciousness that we create just from everybody being in deep presence together. And one of the things that I really love about this is the energies of it aren't fixed and they don't conform, they don't create. They are a portal way for something new to emerge. And we have access to interpretations of reality and clarity and solutions in these circles that we wouldn't have if we're on our own. And so I loved one of my favorite quotes of Thich Nhat Hanh, the blessing, beautiful soul who just passed.
He passed, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest gifts Earth ever received. But one of my favorite quotes of his was that the next Buddha will be Sangha, meaning that the wise one, the wisdom keeper, won't be an individual, it will be a community. And I feel like that's where we're shifting toward, is to pull away from the illusion of I can do this on my own, and to recognizing the unity consciousness that we all are. And when we're together with that same intention, we dissolve any people-pleasing puppet type control mechanisms that we don't realize are there, but it's just the frequency that we have when we're together, they dissolve. And now we're in this new expression of ourselves. I believe it's a portal to 5D consciousness, really. It's a quantum experience, much like what we hear from Dr. Joe Dispenza and these other quantum doctor, metaphysical healer people, right? And so we become more of our true self in this field of consciousness, which we all walk away different. We all walk away alchemized and transformed in some way, in whatever perfect way that is. And I don't know what brought me to this. I think I was going on a different path, but then Havaya came in because I brought
whatever come in, it's meant to be for you to talk, really.
It was meant to be, because I learned about them a year ago, and I flew to LA to learn the experience. And so I brought them back to Miami, and they're in LA. Havaya has a pretty great community in LA. We've done a couple circles and a couple trainings here in Miami. But really don't know where that was coming from. I love it when spirit takes over and is like, we're going to put this in there.
But it's beautiful though, because what you talk about, the humanity that's becoming more in tribal or community, because that's exactly what I feel the same way. I think the lockdown period really taught us a lot that we don't like to be alone. We don't like to be isolated. Because that lacks love, that lacks the connection, the human connection that we have. And thanks to all this quantum technology like this, Zoom, right? So people can still connect, without that human connection or energy connection. I mean, we got nothing really, Yeah,
and it also calls into question, why isolation was kind of the lowest hanging fruit that was considered acceptable by people who understand how important it is that we have physical touch. Now, this isn't new information, hugs and community are time-tested, proven scientifically to play a huge role in our overall wellness and our health, mental, emotional, physical. And there's people like Dr. Zach Bush and others who were kind of like, there's ways we could have handled this in a way that didn't make it worse, because I feel like the way it was handled made it worse. The amount of fear that was pumping through the media waves and the internet, like, oh my goodness, I felt like I was watching some kind of Hitchcock movie, because I'm not connected to TV and news. I got rid of my TV like 15 years ago. So I don't
yeah.
access to Only news I know from mainstream is what I see on Facebook and Instagram. But so
Yeah.
all I know is I'm teaching meditation here at this place that I've connected with, Aguacate Sanctuary of Love. Aguacate is Spanish for avocado. But so that's a beautiful portal of transformation here in Miami, which was, I know, part of why I was drawn to come here. It's a vegan sanctuary with yummy juice bar and healthy food and rescued farmed animals. And we do yoga, meditation, wellness, retreats, kind of stuff. But so I was teaching meditation at the time, and all of a sudden attendance completely ended. And I found out people were really freaked out about this coronavirus. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like if that's what's going on, then we need to meditate. We all need to meditate. So
Right.
meditation, we'll sit far apart from each other. It's an outdoor venue. Let's just come sit outside and get some fresh air in the sun and meditate. And whatever was being pumped into the mainstream consciousness was way stronger than my encouragement to meditate. And so I went online with some of my services during that time. But yeah, I don't feel like we were given the best, most optimal advice on how to ride this out.
Wow. So let's say with the clients you have right now, you're in Miami, Nikki, do you offer your service only in person, or you do it like via Zoom, or how do you do that? Because I know energy work can be done anywhere. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I've had clients in Australia, California, and Texas, all over. So I'm not bound by geography with anything, even yoga, because I teach yoga as well. I can do yoga on Zoom, and I was doing yoga on Zoom during all this. Tapping, meditation, breath work. Yeah, everything can be done by Zoom. I do primarily focus on in-person stuff, but as I mentioned, I'm also doing retreats. I'm traveling to do retreats. So I have a 3-night womb healing retreat on Mount Shasta in June. Doing a raise your vibration retreat, a day retreat here in Miami in June as well. And I'm looking at doing other events in other states and other parts and other countries. But yeah, so I can do anything remote.
Wow, you sure get a lot of things going on right now with all your treat and your workshops. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I really love? There's a fellow healer here. Her name is Tiny. We were doing moon ceremonies, new moon and full moon, twice a month. And she's also a Reiki master teacher. She went through my training, and we've been doing Reiki workshops for children. So ages 5 to 11. We have
love that.
I know, we've trained 15 little ones to become level 1 Reiki practitioners, and they're knocking on our doors saying, when's level 2? When's level 2? So we have a level 2 workshop for kids happening the end of April. I know, we did teenagers. Can you imagine what our teen years would be like? What it would be like to be 8 years old and understand about Reiki energy healing and just flushing ourselves with pure positive energy and just breathing and channeling healing to our pets and to our plants. Can you imagine what life would have been like to understand that?
Well, to me, it's also going to help, especially like kids with autism or ADD. All you need to do is just have these kids kind of learn this Reiki healing, and it will slow them down, and they'll find peace within themselves, and I think that'd be a great way to really, really teach children. I think Reiki's for children training would be an amazing way to help the parents with the kids, with the autism, because I rather them not being on any kind of medications for a long term, because I don't think that's good for them.
No, and I feel like the pharmaceutical solution plays a very valuable role in some ways, but for me, it feels like it makes sense for it to be a hand holder, not a destination. And I feel like it can sometimes be used as a shortcut rather than really doing deep dives to explore. I feel like we found kind of the lowest hanging fruit and we're kind of running with it. And I don't want to speculate, but I feel like back to the whole empowerment thing. I love also what Buckminster Fuller would say. He would say, you don't change things by fighting the current system. Let's just create a new system that makes the old system obsolete. So some people like to fight the pharmaceuticals and argue and just rail against it. And that may play a very valuable role too. But what I feel is more impactful is to take our attention away. Problems are very seductive. But if we take our our attention away from something that we don't like. And that powerful portal energy is now sent toward what we do want to explore, what we do want to see. And so we do kind of what we're talking about. We help create spaces, maybe mystery schools for children to come and learn about energy and learn about meditation and telepathy and how to develop their gifts and their skills. And they have supportive parents who are, encouraging this, not forcing, but just encouraging the child to make a choice on their own and really explore themselves as a unique portal of spirit, right? So I feel like I'm really excited. I think one of the things I'm here to help support is the birth of a new humanity. That's what I'm really drawn to do. And my book, piecing it together, I feel it's called The Foundation, because I want people to know, and they can use my life as an example, what it's like to pull yourself out of a logical framework and really just start flirting with intuition guidance, and I have a YouTube channel where I have a video, one of many videos on how to develop your intuition.
And what is the name of your YouTube?
Vibe It Up, VIBE.
Vibe It Up. You guys, I'm going to put it down. That's good. We're going to put it down in the description. You got to check it out.
Oh, great. Thank you. So I have that video to help people just explore ways to develop their own intuition, like asking your inner guidance, what should I have for lunch? And have 2 options on the counter and just kind of feel into each of them. Don't get logical about it, but really feel into it. Well, how does a sandwich feel versus the soup?
Flirting with it. I love the way you just use that word, flirting with that intuition.
Yes, sometimes the thinking mind will get all cranial about it and be like, well, I'm going out to lunch with Susie and she always taking pictures, so I should wear this color shirt so I look better. Let go of the logical and just see what really feels like the best idea, which shirt to wear, what to have for lunch, and just let it be playful. Because again, as adults, we get really serious and really like, oh, I got to get this figured out. Like I know with my own healing path, I was getting really serious about, I need to get this done and be, move on. And they try to make it very rigid, but this spiritual life is meant to be playful. Life is meant to be pleasure filled. I was getting into Tantra and I love to explore Tantra. I'm hopefully going through Tantra training soon, but pleasure, like that's more of our soul expression. Our old school, like primal human expression is very rigid and structured and, everything has to have a spreadsheet, but your soul is playful and messy and doesn't have rigid expectations of itself or anybody else. It's like, okay, what's up next? Like, what are we going to do? Like this, like we didn't know we were going to interview tonight. It just kind of happened.
Isn't that beautiful? We just kind of go with the flow with it. Like whatever it feels like, it just go with that. And you're just actually showing us how you do coaching. You're just showing us how we coach here. You can watch how Nikki does. It's beautiful the way she puts it out, not going against it, but just, pull away from that negativities and create your own. It's just beautiful the way you just describe, the way you're showing all to your clients like that, Nikki. Absolutely beautiful. And you're right about that. We just kind of go with the flow with this. We didn't even plan to record this video. I just go it feels right. We feel right. So we'll go with it. That's it. And that's the way I play too. I just go with the flow. I never plan with all my interview. I just go with the flow with it. That's the way it should happen naturally. And that makes
I've noticed fun. That as we've lived on Earth for so long, the feminine, not just women, but the feminine principles of compassion, intuition, receptivity, creativity, pleasure, these have all been downplayed and to really focus on the masculine aspects, again, of men and women. It's not gender specific. But even when women gained liberation and became welcome in the workforce, we weren't bringing feminine principles into the workforce. We were women wearing men's clothes, doing men things, right? So it wasn't that we were bringing the feminine principles into the workplace. And so we're seeing humanity, part of our evolution, part of the new humanity is going to be raising the qualities of the feminine in all of us, not just the fear-based feminine of people pleasing and submission, but the divine feminine, which is, I kind of liken it to the mama bear energy, where she is Kali. If you know about the deity Kali, she's fiercely loving, but she'll knock your house down in a second if in the name of love, right? So she's not gonna she's not, I love what Marianne Williamson says in her work. She just says, you know, the feminine rising isn't going to play your politics about getting food to children. You're just going to go feed them right now. I'm not going to play your games. I'm not going to wait for your political bureaucratic red tape to come clear. We're feeding the children right now. Like, and there's no room for argument there. She's just elbowing her way through to feed the children, right? So it's like we start to see a rise of this divine feminine, but that cannot happen. And I can't say this loud enough. It cannot happen until we have our own divine masculine holding the container. And most of us are living with our fear-based masculine of competition, of aggression and manipulation and control. Like, that's the fear-based masculine infrastructure. But we all need to allow our divine masculine to rise, which holds a sacred container. It will throw elbows if it needs to, but it is really designed to fiercely, strongly hold the space for the divine feminine to rise. She has intuitive guidance, and then the masculine takes action on behalf of what she received. That's the harmony of that I understand for all of us to live, and therefore the world will.
Beautiful, beautiful, it's said. Thank you, Nikki. Wow. So guys, you know, I'm going to put Nikki information here. She's fascinating. You guys need to, I know you help a lot of people, and you have your base clients and even clients from Australia, you said. That's quite a long distance. So it doesn't matter where you're at in the world. You know, if you need her help, you need her guidance, she's an excellent coach. I can see that already, the way she talks, you know. So let's support her. You want to come to her, she can help you quite a bit. I know her for a long time. So Nikki, I'm going to put your information here, your website. You even have LinkedIn, and you have Instagram and all that, and YouTube.
And YouTube. And I also have
YouTube. Yes.
Yeah. I also have a Patreon community. It's part of, as we are birthing this new humanity and we're pulling away from conventional living. So the Patreon platform offers people a way to contribute and support the creative expressions of individuals who are outlying the conventional ways of earning an income. And then what I'm offering, one of my newest tiers, is for $15 contribution a month, I'm having a private Zoom group call where I offer guided meditation for personal activation. We do like a crystalline DNA activation and a violet flame flush to really clear out and activate your own person. And then we do breath work. I do an energy clearing, and we open it up to check-ins and channeling. So that's a once a month offering for everyone who signs in for $15 per month support. And that's my newest offering that I'm excited about. But yeah, I have pretty much every platform on.
And you know what? $15 a month is nothing for your peace in your heart and your mind, really, because with the, you know, with the energy that we have been going through, especially in the past couple of years with the COVID, you know, outbreak and my God, and the lockdown, a lot of people energy has been like all over and chaos, you know, and a lot of people needed this. I mean, I feel like a lot of people need some sort of meditation or energy healing or Reiki and guidance, like from someone like you, to help them calm their nerve, calm their mind. And that way they can just move on with their life, you know, doing a better job in their work or in their relationship or in their family. So with that said, Nikki, thank you for being here. You are absolutely amazing. You are just angel on earth. And thank you for being here and helping people. Absolutely love you. Thank you.
My pleasure, Tina. Thank you, sweet sister. What a gift to reconnect. And thank you to your beautiful subscribers. It's great to connect with you all too.
Thank you. It's great to connect with you. And guys, if you like this video, please go ahead and share Nikki with everyone around the world. All right. Subscribe or click like, so that way just kind of help people come and get to know her. She needs to be known or be discovered with this work. It's very beautiful and genuine of her intention to help raising love, expand this beautiful heart light, and also the consciousness. So I want to, healing is huge, you know, so I love it. Thank you, Nikki. Talk to you later. Okay. Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you, everyone.